So there's a concern that's been raised by, we're talking about oil transporters. There isn't concern about Send Transport playing in the space because their parent company also has a private refinery. And they are concerned that they've imported into Ghana a refinery operator, and at the same time they are playing into the space of transporting their own oil, invariably. So we have a letter by the oil transporters themselves. We'll put that on the screen for you when it's very much ready and appropriate. And then also we'll get to know what the concerns have been as far as this is related. So the letter will be on the screen. So the letter that says that influx of Chinese companies into transportation of petroleum products. We make reference to, and this one they're writing to the National Petroleum Authority, and they are saying that the Chinese company cannot be operating in that level of the value chain. I have Mr. Ajimandria, Chief Executive of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Yeah, okay. You were copied in this letter. Why are you allowing a company to play in that space when they are also heading or operating or going to operate a private refinery?
It's interesting for you to say that. Why are you allowing? I see we have all the authority to be doing that, because after all, when the oil refinery was going to be built, we were not consulted for anything. But basically, it's a matter of it's something that we need to really discuss, and because already we're having more than 5,000 trucks in the system, and as we speak right now, we have only got jobs for 3,850. And even that one, it says that they are making a minimum, they are making about 2 trips the whole month. You buy a truck and you use it for 2 trips for the whole month. You are not getting your value for money. Obviously, you cannot return investment will be almost it. But we're trying to accommodate that. So to bring in more trucks, obviously we are getting to a stage where it will be, the trucks will be running about just once in a month. And that's not good for the Ghanaian entrepreneurs.
Now, how does this crowd out the local transporters then? And why should this be a concern for the ministry, the National Petroleum Authority, to act on this?
Basically, yeah, because obviously, this country right now, we don't even have the way the things are. Where are you going to invest your money? These guys are invested so much in the transport sector, and they are the ones who are taking care of all of us. Now, if you try to get them out of business, you're just increasing the number of people who are unemployed in the country. And we are even looking at areas where Ghanaians can invest. We visit. So obviously, it's something that we don't have to pretend. Be as it may. You say you want to do business with other people from other countries. That's fine. But that's not the place you want people to invest. That's not the place you want people to invest. You want foreign direct investment, not into that sector. Mm-hmm. The sectors that we cannot really do anything is what we're supposed to do. But not the sectors that we are capable of doing something, that you bring people in there. And as it were, our authority to be there. So it's something that we are looking at. It's not pretty good. Look at the country as it stands. You tell me, where do you have to invest? The people are doing their jobs, they are having their transport. We can't give them jobs. You don't get rid of them. See, let them, as we speak right now, a lot of the trucks as to be applied, they just take about 2 trips in the whole month because you're trying to contain them. Now, if you bring this one, you become zit, So it's something that the government had to look at. Okay. And I know letters have written and copies were sent to the ministries and other places. I expect government to react.
Okay. The government is here. Thank you very much, Andre Japamesa, Deputy Energy. This one falls closely.
Well,
or if not under you.
Indeed, it came to my attention only yesterday. I was out of the jurisdiction the whole of last week, practically. And I believe that if my recollection of the local content rules is anything to go by. These sectors will be one that will be exclusively reserved for indigenous Ghanaians. I've seen the letter that the transport union owners have submitted to the NPA. Unfortunately, they did not copy the ministry, but to the extent that has come to our attention, I would engage the chief executive of NPA immediately I leave here to see what it is that can be done to ensure that it remains exclusively for Ghanaians. I'm not sure that we should.
Honorable Mr. Thank you very much.
Hold on, Mr. Ajmandia, you know, we try to be proactive in these matters. I'm not aware. You know, like I said, it only came to my attention when the subject was sent to me yesterday, late in the evening. I tried to scout around for some information. But be that as it may, like I said, we're going to take it up and see how we're able to resolve it as soon as possible. Yeah.
This is a big worry. Already, jobs are a problem. They are employing drivers, etc.
And the real issue here is one that borders on national security. I say this because, you see, when you have a key sector like fuel controlled by foreigners, quote unquote, the danger is that when they take any decision, it has the potential of undermining the national security of this country. So look at these two scenarios. Toll is basically down. Through government, involvement whatsoever, a Chinese national has been prepped up. He's setting up a refinery. Now, if to the point that this refinery set by the Chinese even controls 40% market share relative to refined products into the country, if he's angry with government, the danger is that he can just shut the plant down and we are fucked up completely. And that is where I agree with Mr. Ajman, that beyond even the employment opportunities and others, you want the typical Ghanaian to control certain key sectors. And look, sometimes it requires deliberate, intentional policy of government to say, as for these sectors, we are saving them. Look, today, the role of Ghanaians in capital formation is almost out. Ghanaian ownership of capital formation in Ghana today is almost out. When you go to the US, look, the JP Morgan Chase and all of those things have American ownership. And the reason is that if you have a situation where an outsider control your finances, control your fuel, control everything. Look, in Germany today, Russia will continue to threaten the German because if the Russians decide to close their tap on any of the pipeline, Europeans will die of cold. And that is why consistently government, by reason of their national policy undertaking, always factor that the ordinary Ghanaians should have a controlling share in fuel and others. And that is why under the J. Rawlings administration, they actually thought of establishing BOST as a strategic depot so that in times of crisis, they can always safeguard the situation. And so the things that are happening, and I'm happy that the deputy minister relative to energy is here. These are matters that go to the point of policymakers. I do not have that benefit. We can only rely on him.
He's the government.
But Mr. Ajmandia would bear me out that indeed we've amended our legislation significantly to make even oil marketing, retail outlets, purely indigenous Ghanaian owned, and haulage, transportation, and all that is part of the scope of, activities that have been reserved exclusively for Ghanaians. Like I said, this has just come up. We'll take it up and ensure that the right things are done.
But you see,
all right, Mr. Ajmandia, your last word on this. You are comforted or what? Or you still keep...
Oh, yes, somehow. I will take the 40% of that.
Okay.
The comfort. Then I wait for Honorable Mesa, who is my friend, for the other 60%.
Okay. All right. Gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been worth a good conversation. Andre Japamesa, Deputy Minister. And then also Edu G.
I observe something that I want to do. If you observe the statistics that the Electoral Commission had put forward, you will notice that about 63% of the persons who have undertaken the registration so far are using the guarantor system. Okay. And I want to salute the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, including Ejapa here, for stopping Madam Jane Mensah with the CI that was going to make the Ghana card the sole identity document. What it means is that duty bearers must not demonstrate lack of foresight and planning, but for the intervention of the Parliament, the Committee of the Whole, the engagement and others, would have had a situation where possibly 63% of the people who have registered so far.
You never know, they would have gotten their Ghana cards before they go and register.
We are talking about them now.
No, I agree. But then we need to progressively ensure that everybody has that document. So, for the purposes for which it was intended.
Cash out goes with the short code *439 hash. Can we do a draw? Can we do a draw before we go? Okay, we're taking a break. Thank you, gentlemen. I've enjoyed the conversation as well. For all of you who gave us messages, Helga, Sampi Ali, a couple of all of you there, Prince Henry, Money, Lion, Modamidu, all of you, we thank you very much. We're taking a break. We'll be right back, right here.